When I was recently looking for videos online about what to do with kids in New York City, I came across some generally terrible advice. For example, nobody should be going to Times Square, and certainly not the M&M store there, for more than a few minutes. And then there's this other school of thought that New York City is not a family-friendly place. I'm here to tell you it can be, you just need to know where to look. So in this video, we're going to give you a real local perspective informed by raising our 3-year-old in this city and having lived here for over a decade. We did a similar video for London where we've also spent significant time and highlighted 13 of the best things to do with kids in that beautiful city. So we're going to follow a similar format here for Manhattan, and we're focusing on that borough because that's where we live and that's what we know best. But we'll be exploring some of the other boroughs this summer, so make sure you hit subscribe so you don't miss out. Of note, we're also focused more on smaller children in this video. If you have older kids, the advice might be a little different. You might have more freedom and flexibility of what to see, like a Broadway show, for example. Our 3-year-old, there's no way he's sitting through one of those. Although many of these activities are also very adult friendly. So without further ado, let's get to my favorite at number 1. Topping the list at number 1 is Central Park. An entire video could and probably should be devoted to Central Park in and of itself. It's simply massive, it's beautiful, there are so many different things to explore with or without children. 2 of our favorite playgrounds are at the southern tip of the park. The first being the Heckscher Playground, which has really fun play equipment, and the second is the Billy Johnson Playground. It's honestly hard to go wrong with any of the playgrounds though in Central Park because they all have their own unique features and they're just a great escape even for parents too. A few of our other favorite things to do in the park. We love exploring all of the different water features Central Park has to offer, whether that be the duck pond, the conservatory pond where there are often model boats, although I think that's temporarily closed at the moment. Then there's the large lake where you can even rent a boat. Also, our son is a big fan of the Beatles, so we like to go over to Strawberry Fields, which was created in honor of John Lennon, and there's usually a performer playing Beatles songs there. It's lovely and one of the most peaceful, serene parts of Central Park. The final spot I'll highlight in the park, but again, this could be its whole own video, is Belvedere Castle and the turtle pond that it overlooks. These are a must-see for children who love castles and wildlife that will be right in front of them. It's also a great central location in the park, so you can go in different directions depending on what you want to see, if you want to go north to the reservoir or south to Sheep Meadow. Our second recommendation is related to Central Park because it's actually located within the park, and that's the Central Park Zoo. It's the little brother to the more internationally renowned Bronx Zoo, but it's still worth seeing, especially if you have kids, because not only are the seals and grizzly bears fun to see, but there's a whole separate children's zoo where kids can feed and pet animals like sheep and goats.
What does the sheep say, Sebastian?
Now you might be wondering, what's the best overall neighborhood for kids in New York City? My answer leads us to number 3, Battery Park City. Overall, this is the best neighborhood to take children because of its numerous parks and playgrounds, great walking paths, and manicured, clean streets, which are taken care of by its very own park department for Battery Park City. I did an entirely separate video on this neighborhood, so make sure to check it out for more details. And if you're wondering what to eat with kids in Manhattan, definitely allocate some time for bagels. That's our 4th recommendation. Bagels and bakeries in general, they're awesome in Manhattan. Some of my favorite bagel spots are Essa Bagel in Midtown, Russ and Daughters downtown, Kosar's also downtown, and Zucker's is pretty decent as well with multiple locations. The bottom line is that a bagel shop or bakery is one of the best things you can do with kids in New York City because it's almost always a guaranteed meal that you know they will enjoy. It's fun for the parents too, and it's a great quintessential New York City experience. We also did a whole separate video on our favorite bakeries in New York City, so make sure to check that out, also linked in the episode description. Number 5, Bryant Park. It's one of the few parks in Midtown, and its event schedule is fantastic. The park changes with the seasons, the great winter village, a fun lawn with a movie series during the summer, and most importantly for kids, a fun carousel year-round. Sebastian, can you smile?
You're ready.
Hi, Sebastian. Hi. It's simply an oasis amidst the busy and bustling chaos of Midtown Manhattan. Connected to Bryant Park is number 6 on our list, the New York City Public Library. Although we're not focused on the main library, we're going across the street to the actual Bryant Park and Midtown branch, where they have a lovely and renovated children's section, which is open to the public, downstairs in its basement level. The setting is great. They have a family bathroom, which is always a win, and Clifford is a fan favorite, especially for our son. For number 7, we're heading a little further south to Madison Square Park, another of our favorite parks in Manhattan. This one, unlike Bryant Park, actually has a playground. There's no carousel, but there's plenty of green space for kids to run around in, and the park has a Shake Shack, and it's also surrounded by great shopping destinations like Italy. Our son loves the Italy shopping experience.
We have ourselves a shopper.
And if mom and dad are looking for a fine dining experience without the kids, check out my video on 11 Madison Park, which also borders Madison Square Park, but make sure you find a babysitter. For number 8, a trip to New York would not be complete without a visit to one of its many renowned museums. And that's why we're putting the MOMA, the Museum of Modern Art, in at number 8. From Picasso to Monet, this museum is one of the best in New York City. And if our little guy can keep his hands to himself, then yours definitely can too. It's a big space with wide open walkways that are great for kids. There are also fun objects for them to learn about and to see. Our son, for example, fell in love with this dump truck, although nothing beats the green helicopter. Our second favorite museum comes in at number 9, the Museum of Natural History. From dinosaurs to the life-size blue whale, this museum surprises and delights people of all ages. It's giant though, so make sure to allocate at least an entire morning to this experience, and I highly recommend going early in the morning to beat the crowds if you can. Who do you see? It's madness here. You can say hi, Sebastian. For an especially local New York City experience, check out number 10 on our list, the Union Square Farmers Market. Many local restaurants source produce and ingredients from this market, which comes from farms across the tri-state area. Our son also loves the Union Square playground with its telescopes, but he loves exploring the farmers market even more. For a taste of historic New York City, stop off at number 11 on our list, South Street Seaport. There's no longer a fish market here, but there is a wealth of shops, restaurants, bars, all with ample space and outdoor seating, along with a newer French market at the Tim Building, which we featured in an earlier video. It's always a fun time in South Street Seaport with kids, especially on a nice sunny day. That takes us to number 12 on the list, Grand Central Station. While they have great tours here for adults and older kids, it's fun coming here for the little train enthusiasts in your life. If your child is anything like ours, he is obsessed with trains, and we could just stand here watching these trains for a good 30 minutes. The best part, that's free. You see him go? Afterwards, stop off at the Grand Central Market, get yourself a snack or some lunch, or even pick up dinner. It's a great market with all sorts of offerings.
Good food?
Finally, coming in at number 13, hop on a water taxi. For only a few dollars per person, you can see so much of the New York City area. It's really fun, especially on a hot day, and our son absolutely loved it. Sailing. Are you excited, Sebastian? We're sailing. We hope this advice has been helpful and that you're now ready to conquer New York City with kids. Be sure to hit like and subscribe so you don't miss out on more adventures. Cheers all.
Bye, Mr. Turtle. Bye, Mr. Turtle.